Calls back with another installment of Stories of Service.
Yeah, there's so many great stories out there, and we've met close to 100 World War II veterans in this series now, but that's really not even scratching the surface of what's out there. And the stories that really get me, the stories of survival, beating the odds, making it home. This is another one of those. Bill Begley's father gave him the name Wild Bill to distinguish him from all the other Bill Begleys in the small Kentucky town where he grew up. But Wild Bill doesn't even begin to describe what Begley would endure as a survivor of the infamous Bataan Death March.
Well, at the beginning of the war, I weighed 180 naturally, but you might say by the time Bataan fell, I had got down to about 110 pounds.
And wait until you hear the rest of that story. Wild Bill Begley grew up in Kentucky, joined the Army at age 20, and by November 1941, he was headed to the Philippines as a radio operator with the 34th Pursuit Fighter Interceptor Squadron. They were supposed to have P-40 Warhawks, but instead found just some old P-35s that had been worn out by the Philippines Air Force.
And so help me, the grass is growing up through the canopies and all around them. They were rusty, and you could see that they were worn out. So he said, here you are, 25 of them, you can have them.
The 34th's crack mechanics used 5 planes for parts and ended up with 20 that could fly. They hadn't been in the Philippines even 3 weeks when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. General MacArthur ordered all planes grounded, but Bill's commanding officer was determined to fight.
If you fly, you're subject to court-martial against MacArthur's order. I'll do what I can to protect you. And he says, I'm going to go. You guys do as you like. I'm planning to go.
Wild Bill still marvels at the courage of those pilots, outnumbered 3-1 by Japanese planes, which had more firepower and a speed advantage. The Americans faced extremely long odds.
How many of them came back?
All of them. And he shot down 2.
So Bill witnessed what seemed like a miracle, and he would need more of the same. When supplies ran out, they turned the airmen into infantrymen, issuing condemned World War I era rifles and telling them to fight.
We were in rags and shoes worn out and everything else. No food, no water, no nothing.
They ate snakes, lizards, monkeys. The saying was, if it moves, eat it. If it doesn't, salute it. And it would get worse when he became part of the largest Allied surrender of the war. 78,000 American and Filipino soldiers who became prisoners of war and embarked on what would become one of history's most infamous war crimes, the Bataan Death March, marching day and night with no food and no water.
Did you think you were going to die?
Oh yeah, everybody did. I had friends in my squadron died all around me. In the first prisoner camp in Longer Road, bayoneted, shot, beheaded, everything.
From 180 pounds down to 110 at the start of the march, his body would waste away to just 68 pounds by the time he was liberated after 3.5 years as a prisoner of war. Seeing the thousands die from starvation, disease, and brutality made it easier for Bill to swallow the 30 times he was stabbed with the bayonet, the 5 times he was wounded. After returning home, Bill would spend decades helping to administer countless military funerals. He knew the families would appreciate the honor which so many of his brave comrades did not receive when they died in captivity.
Guys were dying so fast that we couldn't bury them. And they dug a big hole and just threw them in there. I was fortunate enough to be standing, and the ones that were standing, we'd get them to the hole. That's why I did it.
So that's why he's been so determined to pay respect to the young men and women who have died in the service in our country or after serving our country because of what he saw.
Lost 2/3 of his body weight. That's phenomenal.
Unbelievable story of survival. Thank you, Bill, for serving our country.